cool just to start going live and start recording a series basically that we want to call Young Trainer, Old Coach. Because I've been at this 16 years, he's younger and new to it, and share some of the insights and just teach you guys as we go with some of the struggles that he sees with his clients, some of the things he's undergoing. And we just thought this would be great lessons. So let's just go for it, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's been fun. So about, what would you say, 6 months in now since I got certified?
Yep.
You've been a huge help. Like, honestly, like certifications, cool, whatever. But I've learned mostly through you. So, yeah, you've been a huge help, man. I appreciate it.
Well, it's an honor, and that is the thing. Like, there's so many people out there that are certified, but they've never worked with anybody in person. And I'm old school, and I believe we should work with people in person. And I've heard a lot of the smart people that I'm blessed to be friends with, they'll tell you, like, the most valuable thing you can ever do is get a mentor.
I 100% agree. And training in person, like, I do mostly online. Like, majority of my clients are online, but the few that I have in person, like, it is a blast every time I get with them. We have a great time. We have fun. And I like that that's probably my favorite part.
Yeah, it is. What do you got for me this week? Let's start it off with a blast, man. I'm going to let you ask the questions. I'll answer, and then we'll go back and forth like we do.
Yeah, so did you want to go over the questions that we had talked about earlier, or kind of more so client related? What do you think?
I don't care.
You don't?
I really don't care. I'm just sitting here sipping my coffee. I don't care.
Cool deal. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can start off with some client questions I got. So a big thing in getting like going with fitness, like especially if you have not started before, or maybe you did when you were younger, you kind of fell off, life got busy, whatever the story is, right? How do you get your clients to get that fire back? How do you get them to get passionate about not just going to the gym, but like actually eating healthy, actually like caring, right?
Well, I think that's a great question because so many people struggle with motivation, right? Like, how do I get and stay motivated? Like, so we need to, in my opinion, a great place to start is to really, when we get going, find out why we got started. Like, what is that initial intrinsic thing that got us going? Because we're not always going to be motivated. Motivation is, a lot of people will say action breeds motivation. Well, that's not really true. Like my buddy Jeb Stewart Johnson said, like, you have to be motivated enough to reach out to a trainer in the beginning. And so then it's the action that keeps it going. We're not always going to have that fire. And there's some people that just generally are never going to like working out. But where we can reframe that is saying, what do you like? And finding what they do enjoy. And then that is where we say, but do you like feeling stronger? Do you like hurting less? Do you like that feeling that this thing brings you and focusing on that thing?
Do you like that after effect? Yes, sir. I like that.
Right.
Because I know there's plenty of times you and I will call each other when we're supposed to go to the gym. You're like, man, I really don't fucking want to do this right now. Like, this is the last thing I want to do. So, yeah, that motivation's a big thing. But people think it's a big thing. It's really like, it doesn't not last. You might be motivated for an hour, then it's gone.
I mean, even today, like another buddy of mine posted, Andrew Coates was posting about peeling yourself off the couch. And I mean, I felt like crap this morning, like crap. I had indigestion all night. I felt like I had a hangover, and I'm going to post about it later, but it's simply because I drank less water. I drank more caffeine, which I'm doing now. And I ate more processed foods, and I ate in a pretty big caloric surplus. And nothing in me wanted to go work out today. And it turned out to be a great workout. And then I kind of crashed again afterward. But if in my opinion, if we let our emotions and our feelings dictate what we do, we're screwed. Because
gets them to that point where they're at now, right?
Right. And there's two ways. Another person, Bedros Koulian, was talking about this at the Silverback Summit, and he said there's a human being and there's a human animal. We're all human animals. We love to think we're this super superior thing, but most of us are driven by our emotion. Most of us are driven and we react to emotion, but a human being acts.
Hmm.
Like if an animal is scared, it attacks or it runs. Well, so do we typically. But when we channel that human being, we make calculated decisions and we don't react. We
Hmm.
act. And that is something very important. And with my clients, what I focus on them with in the beginning is yes, the whys. We hear that so much; it's become cliche.
Hmm.
But just this simple question seems to help a lot. Has there ever been a time where you didn't want to work out, you skipped the workout, hit the snooze button, and slept, and you felt better about it?
Hmm.
Now it's rare. Now,
Right.
is there ever a time where you said, I'm going to work out in the morning, didn't feel like working out, got up and went to the gym and then regretted it?
Not once.
Me neither.
You're right.
So it's using past lessons to help make future decisions
Hmm.
compared to being solely ruled by emotion and impulse. That's what got us where we are in the first place, as you so perfectly said.
Hmm. So for the client that is skipping most of their workouts, like they may get 1, 2 every few weeks. Is that the route you're going to go? Like, hey, are you going to focus on, do you ever regret when you do go, or how do you feel after you're done? Is that kind of the question is that where you're going with it?
Well, that would be one. And that's, as most things, you know me, and in the beginning it annoyed you, but it depends.
Hmm.
It depends on the person. Like if we have set them up, so many people come in and say, well, I'm going to work out 5 days a week. But if they've been working out none or one or two, like maybe programming them five is overwhelming them. Like
Hmm.
let's be realistic about what we can expect from ourselves and what our lives allow.
Hmm.
Like if your life allows you to have 2 to 3 workouts a week, that's awesome. Let's do that. So I think that that's a great question. Like what are we capable of? Another one would be, are you not going because you don't have the energy? Well, if you don't have the energy, we have to go back to these basic things that we start off with. How does your sleep look? What does your sleep routine look like? Do you even have one?
Hmm.
What does your nutrition look like? If you're sitting there slashing your carbs through the floor, no crap, you don't have any energy.
Right.
If you're eating mostly processed foods, then you're probably not going to feel like it. You're probably not going to recover well enough to go back.
Hmm.
If you are doing too much volume in the gym, which is something, that when we started working together, I was like, I need to bring that down.
Yeah.
If you are so sore from all of your workouts because you're going balls to the wall in the very beginning, no crap. You're not going to feel like it.
Hmm.
And you probably shouldn't. You probably should let your body rest and just move slightly. So there are a lot of mitigating factors. There's a lot of nuance there. Um, I don't like to give carte blanche answers because I don't know. It does
Hmm.
depend. But those are really great places to start. How does your sleep look? How much water are you drinking? What's the food quality? What's your nutrition look like? Did you set up a plan that's just really overwhelming and unrealistic for you? All of those things are going to play into that.
Hmm.
So we have to build that confidence. I like to set minimums. What is your minimum required? Like, what does your life allow for the bare minimum? And if that answer is 2, great. Get really good at
Hmm.
2.
Focus on that versus trying to go for the 3, 4, 5, however many. Makes sense.
My
So I have
opinion.
he's a business owner, so he's very busy. He's got a daughter. Um, I have him set up going to the gym, right? Like he's got 3 workouts per week going to the gym. He's not going. Okay. My thought process on what I'm considering doing is, okay, maybe going to the gym isn't right for you. What if we focus on doing bodyweight stuff at home? What if we simplified and took out the commute to the gym? Would that be easier? What do you think about that?
Well, it depends. So,
It
um,
depends.
how many days a week is he going to the gym, you said?
I have him set up for 3. Sometimes I'll get 1, usually none.
Okay. I would say I would ask him why.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's the busyness of his life, okay, what does fit? What is reasonable? Can we do, not just can we, what are you willing to do, right? It's a lot of people say, well, I can do this. Yeah, but are you willing to?
That's a good
That's
point.
what really matters.
That's a very good point and a great question.
So that's where I would start and say, what are you willing to do? Are you willing to do 10 minutes at home?
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, then oftentimes he'll start to feel better from doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And feeling better from doing that will allow him to build confidence in himself. Right now, he's building confidence in the other direction.
Yeah. James Clear, those small habits, small baby steps, getting those small wins, accumulating them up.
That's it, man. And I love James Clear. That's one of the first books, we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, I'm a very big fan of reading, and I'm a very big fan of constant education. But another implied task there that can help people is like it is garbage in, garbage out. But people normally think of that in regards to food. But for instance, what are you listening to? What are the people around you? What is the client's input outside of that? Like if none of his friends are working out and none of them are active, the odds are he's fighting an uphill battle here. If everything he's listening to is just, and this goes across the board in my opinion, if everything we're listening to is negative or none of it has to do with health and fitness, the odds are his brain's not going to go there. But if we can add in more like podcasts, if we can add in more things that get your mind focusing on that thing, then the odds are more likely that you'll go that direction.
I agree. Yeah, the kind of what you mentioned about like if none of his friends are going to the gym, that was another thing. Why is it so normal to be unhealthy? Like it's so normal to not go to the gym. It's so normal to eat the quote unquote bad food, which you and I are on the same page. We don't like to label food good or bad, but you know what I mean, quote unquote. Like why is that so normalized? But then as soon as you try making the healthy changes, or you tell your friend or family members like, hey, yeah, I'm going to the gym, or no, I don't want that soda, I'm only drinking water, or no, I don't want a beer today while we're all hanging out by the fire or cookout, whatever it is. It's like you almost have to explain yourself, like, oh, why aren't you drinking? Oh, why don't you want to eat this? It's just one day. Like, why not? Just enjoy yourself. But it's like that every single time, and it's like trying to get through that. I know personally I've had to go through that before. Like that's kind of a fucking struggle. Like, why is that? Why do you think that is?
Well, let's start at the end. If you were, let's use me as an example. So like I'm clean and sober. Mm-hmm. If I was like, hey bro, and all of a sudden instead of wanting to hang out and like talk while we're grilling burgers or at the gym, I was like, hey, let's start meeting at the bar. Mm-hmm. Would you ask me why?
If we were doing the right stuff and then you said, let's meet at the bar. Mm-hmm. Depending on what your end goal of going to the bar is. It would
be a change. It would be out of the norm. Anything out of the norm is going to draw resistance.
Yeah.
And so that I just wanted to see it from the other viewpoint there, whether it's a healthy change. Like if I started, let me rephrase this. If all of a sudden I just started door dashing all the time, eating garbage food, we were meeting at Market on Main and talking Italian, and I just started ordering the burger every meal, would you be like, hey bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's no different. So it is out of the norm. Now, our society, it has become a norm for people to live a very unhealthy lifestyle. Now, that has a lot of layers. A lot of layers, and we could talk for hours on that one. One is because we are very, very programmed for instant gratification.
Yep.
And most people view health and fitness as a delayed gratification. I disagree.
The physical changes, because that's what everybody's focused on, I believe. Like,
yeah, which backfires.
Things to look a certain way. Well, fuck, it's taken me 6, 7, 8 months to see anything real. Like that's a long time.
Yes, and so that is one, and that's why with my clientele, I don't work with people that want quick, super fast fat loss. That's not what I do. I work with people on life change, behavior change, identity change. But as a side effect, they probably will lose a ton of weight and get the body that they've always wanted, but not as the focus. But we are programmed now. Like, look at TikTok. TikTok is 3 seconds, like just high input everything. Like, we're getting reprogrammed that everything is now. There's also we in our culture seem to glorify being busy and grinding, and that's wrong. Now, in my opinion, now you know how I work. I work my butt off, but I also will step away. We also have somehow in our head twisted it to your point that eating healthy is when you're on a diet, not a lifestyle. And so there is that. Like, if I'm ordering healthy food, well, let's say I'm the average Joe and I'm ordering healthy food, people are like, oh, you're on a diet. Like, no, you window liquor. I'm not on a diet. This is how I eat all the time. But it has become like that pleasure. We have shifted our society. Maybe I'm a little off track here. To, I deserve this. Like, you deserve everything you want all the time because you popped out of your mother. No, you don't. You've been lied to. Like, you earn. And my faith means a lot to me. Like, for me, and I'm not going to turn it this direction, but the wages of sin are death, dude. Like, and that is the thing. Like, we get that when we eat that way all the time, when we are inactive. And then we're like, man, I hope, like, that's a whole rant that I could get on. But we are programmed. Oh, you deserve that. You deserve that donut. Why do I deserve to treat my body like trash and feel like crap tomorrow? Now, I'm not vilifying a donut. You know me. I'll eat whatever I want, just not whenever I want. And that's the shift that we've had is, you look at my grandparents. They eat out once a year. Once a year. And now asking somebody to eat out once a week is a struggle. We've also shifted to where we think that cooking at home is abnormal and that it takes too much time. It takes me less time to make my food for the week. I could prep all my food for the week, like 4 meals a day, in the same amount of time I could go to a restaurant, sit down and eat. So we're lying to ourselves. Say what?
The other just requires more work. That's why it's easy to be like, oh, no, I don't feel like cooking. I don't feel like cleaning, doing the dishes. It may take the same amount of time as going to the restaurant, sitting down and eating, but one is exactly that, just sitting down and eating.
Well, we also have gotten to where we think that cooking and meal prepping and meal planning is like stressful and requires time. But if you think about this, and this is something I go over with all my clients, how much time do you spend trying to figure out what you're going to eat? How much time do you spend stressing over what you're going to pick? How much time do you spend going through the drive-thru? How much time do people spend sitting down at a restaurant? It actually ends up freeing up time. It frees up bandwidth, and it alleviates so much stress. My clients, once they start doing this, go, oh my God, I had so much stress that I wasn't aware of. Like, we're actually making our lives more difficult. Like, most people don't walk into work with no clue of what they're going to do. Most people don't approach most things in their life with no plan. Like, imagine if you got in your relationship, right? Let's take your relationship. You there's let's say you have some sort of argument with your girlfriend. You would probably think about it, what you're going to say and do beforehand.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Which one typically goes better for
You know which one. You gotta sit and think.
you? And yet we wonder why that it's I'm not we have the lessons, we have the answers in some other area of our life where we've been successful. All we typically have to do is take those lessons that we've learned and apply them to an area where we're not good at, yet.
Mm-hmm.
And this just happens to be one of them. But there's a cognitive dissonance there where people go, oh, I don't have time. Oh, I don't want to eat chicken, broccoli, and rice. Me neither, so I'm not gonna.
Right.
And I think that's part of it is we have gone so far to where we think that as a society that eating healthy looks like that.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Also, one of the biggest things for my clients is once we learned how to cook at home, but also make those healthy meals that taste good, that they actually enjoy. Like I'll get messages and be like, holy shit, dude, like this is actually really good. It is. Like you don't have to eat boiled chicken with no seasoning and broccoli and some fucking rice. Like nobody wants to do that. Occasionally, sure, like if that's what you got, but not boiled chicken. No, I'm putting seasoning on it. I'm gonna put some sauce on it. Like I want it to taste good.
In the immortal words of Kevin Hart, pineapples. I'm not gonna do it. I don't want it. Like, no.
Get it away.
And it really is the implied thing here is find what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've had a client lose 25 pounds in 45 days eating fast food 3 times a
Mm-hmm.
day. People go, well, that's not optimal. Well, it was for her because it's now 8 years later and she's down another 40 pounds. But if I'd have tried to shove her into chicken, broccoli, and rice, it would have never worked. And
right. So for anyone listening right now, and they just heard you say that you've had a client lose 25 pounds eating nothing but fast food, explain that to them. Like I understand because you and I have talked about this and know how that works. Explain that to people listening, because that's kind of like I know from the outside listening in, I'd be like, how?
Very simply speaking, too simple. She was burning more than she ate. Mm-hmm. We made simple swaps instead of and this is where the power is for anybody listening now or later. This is where the magic happens. Subtle shifts. Mm-hmm. Subtle shifts. Shifting from ordering, what was it, the sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddle to an egg McMuffin. Well, she just saved hundreds of calories. Mm-hmm. Shifting from ordering the double cheeseburger cookout or the fried chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A to the grilled chicken, switching from the fries to the kale salad or the fruit. Those end up adding up to a drastic amount of calories over time. And eventually what happened was she came to me and she said, hey, if I start cooking dinner at home, do you think that I will lose more fat? I said, I don't know. Are you willing to find out?
That's good.
And she did.
I also like how if you had instantly gone into, hey, I want you to start your meals, like taking them from point A to I want you to cook your own meals at home, there would have been a big wall of resistance, right? But hey, try these simple changes. You can still go to your favorite places, fast food, Chick-fil-A, wherever you normally go, but do these small changes. And that led to her asking about wanting to cook at home. Like that's huge.
It's not my journey. It's hers. Mm-hmm. It's yours. Whatever works for you is what works. My job as a coach is to meet a client where they are, mm-hmm. not where I want them to be. Mm-hmm. Now, the implied task there is the client at some point should move as well. Hopefully.
Yeah, I feel like it's very easy to overcomplicate, right? I mean, you see a bunch of shit on Instagram or TikTok telling you what you should be doing. You know, suntan your asshole, go ground your feet, ice bath, whatever. Like, it's very simple.
That's why the premise of all of my coaching, and you know this, and I work with you on it, is how would this look if it was simple?
Mm-hmm.
How would this look if it was simple? Drink plenty of water, get plenty of rest. This one's missed. Have stress management techniques. Manage your stress. Go into that later if you'd like. Eat primarily whole foods, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean meats, and move. My favorite exercise on the planet for anyone, well, most people, is walking. If you're in a wheelchair, I'm sorry I offended you.
Well, and get an arm workout. No, I agree. Walking's huge. Like, especially for someone who's not used to going out and doing cardio, like, oh, I got to run. I got to go for a run. That's the only way it's going to work. And, like, they'll go all out one day, sore as fuck the next day and the following day. Then they don't want to feel like that again, so they don't do it, versus just, hey, for a 10-minute walk. Do it again. Do it again. How about 15 minutes? Again, maybe 20. And you just keep building up, and then, okay, maybe I'll go for a run now because I just feel like it. And they may enjoy it a little bit more, but then they just continue walking and just, like you said, just moving. Goes a long way.
And so how would that look if it was simple, right? Take something you already do that you enjoy and tie it to something you should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So with my clients, it's if I scroll, then I stroll. If I talk, then I walk. So if I'm going to call you, I'm going to go for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to scroll on Instagram, I'm going to go for a stroll.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally that simple.
Yeah. I always recommend, like, for those of my clients that they got a favorite TV show, they like to watch Netflix a lot. All right, cool. Pull it up on your phone, walk on the treadmill while you watch an episode. Easy way to get in the habit of doing it.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. Far too many people say, I need to build this habit. I need to build this habit. But they keep forgetting. Well, why the heck should you remember to do these things when you have never done them before? So tie them to something else that you're already doing.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes cue, craving, response, reward.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, alarm goes off. Cue, response. Hopefully you turn it off. Reward. The alarm shuts up. So if it became, and I use this with every one of my clients, right? And I simplify it down. If this, then that. If the alarm goes off, I get up. If I get up, I say something I'm grateful for. If I say something I'm grateful for, then I turn off my alarm. If I turn off my alarm, then I go pee. If I go pee, then I drink my water. If I drink my water, then I get my coffee. There's literally cue, craving, response, reward all the way through there. Mm-hmm. I can't remember to drink water in the morning. Well, put the dadgum water in front of the coffee pot. Mm-hmm. That should remind you to drink the water.
Mm-hmm. Builds a routine out of it.
And then you're not having to try to force yourself to remember something new. You've already tied it to something you already do. Mm-hmm. Stop trying to rehaul your entire life in 12.23 seconds.
It's not going to stick. It might for a week, but not long term. So let's take it back to when you first started getting big into fitness and training. What were things you were doing then that you can look back on now and like, okay, that was completely wrong?
Working out 6 days a week. No need for most people.
Right.
Your diet better dadgum be on point.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean 800 grams of protein. I mean
that's something you were aiming for?
A lot of people do. Dude, I have clients all the time. They're like, more protein. I'm like, calm down. Eat carbs. They're good for you, and they'll fuel your workout. Too many exercises. Mm-hmm. Way too many exercises, way too many reps. Mm-hmm. People like take it as a badge of honor that they just did. Let's say they're doing chest day, and that's a whole nother one. The bodybuilder split, not a big fan. Mm-hmm. But they're like, okay, I did bench press, which I also don't do bench press anymore. But bench press, incline bench press, decline bench press, dumbbell flies, cable flies, tricep push downs, dips. Go away. Go home. Stop it. You remember?
And then the next they move their fucking chest or arms because they're just wrecked.
Yes. Listen, you build muscle out of the gym, not in the gym. It is too much stimulus. In my opinion, like there are days where I go in and do 2 exercises, bro. Like let's say I got like 15 minutes and I need, and this is the only chance I have to hit my upper body this part of the week. Great. I will go in and knock out chin-ups or pull-ups and some dumbbell chest presses. That is enough. And then I'm gone. 4 to 5 exercises, possibly 6 at the most. That's all I need. It's all most people need, and most people aren't eating well enough to handle any more than that.
Well, it also ties into what we talked about the other day. A lot of people will waste sets. Like that first set's gonna be kind of easy. You know, they're getting warmed up. Next set, they increase the weight a little bit, but you know, they had a lot of reps left in the tank. Explain to people who are listening how each and every set should look and the intensity behind those sets. That way, like a lot of people may hear, okay, only 6 exercises. Like that's not a lot. How am I going to get a good workout? Explain how if they go all out on each set, how after 4, 5, 6 exercises, they're going to be gassed.
You can be gassed after 1 to 2 if you do it right. So what we have is a perceived rate of exertion. And the perceived rate of exertion basically is like how hard did you push mentally speaking, right? So when we hear push to or reps in reserve is how I coach a lot, right? So if I tell somebody, I want you to train until there's 2 reps in reserve, meaning if you did 2 more, you would unequivocally fail. I want that every set of every exercise. So most people, when they think they're doing that, it is, oh, well, I have 2 left in my tank on the last set. No. If you're looking to grow some muscle mass, that needs to be, if you program 3 sets, then you're doing that every set. And if you can do like 30 reps on the first set, it's not heavy enough.
Yep.
Now, to that point, something that I got wrong earlier that we have disproven earlier in my fitness journey. Well, we have 5 to 6 reps for strength, and we have 8 to 12 reps for hypertrophy, i.e. muscular hypertrophy, because hypertrophy goes across every organ. But that's, to keep it simple here, muscular hypertrophy, growing the muscle, the aesthetic thing that most people want, or that a lot of people want. And that's going to be between reps 8 to 12. And then, you know, from 15 to 20 is endurance. No, you can build hypertrophy and muscle. Like we're looking anywhere from like 6, 8, all the way to 30. The problem is if you're going to 30, like it's going to take a long time, man. You're going to be there like 3 hours.
Right. Like if you up the weight and lower the reps, you get more out of it.
Typically speaking, but you can do it. So that myth of like moderate weights or low, you know, high reps to tone, like shut up, all these things, like, and that is one thing too. I thought that in the beginning, a long time ago, that if you had needed to do high reps, low weight when you were cutting, and then when you're bulking, do this. No, it's the same dadgum workout. The thing that changes is your nutrition. And one thing that I do when I'm programming for people is when they're cutting down, like when they're looking to lose body fat, I actually lower the amount of exercise.
Why is that?
Have you ever worked out really, really hard and just been uncontrollably hungry?
And dizzy and feeling like I'm going to vomit? Absolutely.
I don't want that. So in order to, at the end all be all, when we're losing fat, when we're losing body weight, it means that we are in a caloric deficit. It can become incredibly difficult to be in a caloric deficit if you're starving because you kicked the monkey crap out of yourself by running 10 miles, by going to a boot camp class, or by lifting for 3 hours in the gym. It's counterproductive. Also, if you're in a caloric deficit, it means by nature that you're getting less calories than your body needs to function.
Mm-hmm.
So why would I then tell someone to beat the crap out of themselves when they don't have enough for maintenance in the first place? That's negligent
Mm-hmm.
and dangerous.
Mm-hmm. I think that was a huge learning curve for myself, especially when I was first starting, was I had in my mind, okay, if I was wanting to put on muscle, this was how the workout should look. If I was wanting to trim up for pool season, beach season, this is how the workout should look. That's just not right. It is
No.
all nutrition at that point.
Yes. Yes. And I think that leads us directly into another one. What does my food look like when I'm programming for somebody, myself, for you, whatever it may be? You hear the term diet food. So I eat a lot of the same foods over and over, just like most people do. They just don't realize it. Like my foods that I eat over and over just happen to tend to be like ground beef, sweet potatoes. You see it. You see it every day. Oh, it's 8 o'clock. Matthew's eating sweet potatoes with ground beef, with green beans, with sweet baby rays, sugar-free, and buffalo wing sauce, right? Because I don't want to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm looking to add more muscle mass, I add more sweet potatoes. The other things stay the same. Maybe when I am looking to just maintain, I just eat this amount. And when I'm looking to cut body fat, I add more green beans and less sweet potatoes. Literally eat the same things, just an even amount, less of it or more of it.
Mm-hmm.
How would this look if it was simple? If you're constantly eating diet food, then how the hell are you going to know how to maintain the weight once it's off? Because now you've got to reshift your entire perspective in your entire life yet again. Congratulations, now you're ice skating uphill.
Which goes into what I explained to all of my clients. Like, what I set up is not a crash diet. Like, that's what most people think is what it's going to take to lose weight. Like, if they're at a certain number and they need to drop a large amount of weight, they're like, oh shit, I got to cut all my carbs out. I got to eat one meal. I got to intermittent fast. I got to do all of these different things. Like, no, it doesn't take all of that.
No, and that is, we'll go into metabolic adaptation in another one. That's a little bit much for the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, sure, dude. People absolutely will lose a lot of weight. Notice I say weight, not fat, very quickly whenever they cut their carbs. Mm-hmm. The word is carbohydrate.
Dropping that water.
It's water. Why do you not feed rice to birds anymore? It makes them explode because their bellies get too big. It's the same thing that happens to you. Oh man, I ate a bunch of rice and I got bloated. Yeah, you did. Because it expanded.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same reason that when you cut your carbs, you pee out a lot of stuff.
And that's also, I mean, that shows why most people who do that crash diet and they drop that weight, the water weight, and then they are off the diet, it all comes right back.
Correct. Oh my God, I ate a bowl of pasta and I gained 6 pounds. Well, first off, don't weigh yourself after the pasta. And second, it's water. Mm-hmm. But your body needs those carbohydrates. Most of your organs, especially your brain, run on glycogen. We have so vilified sugar and carbohydrates. It is legitimately your body and your brain's preferred fuel source. Mm-hmm. So whenever anybody that has cut carbs through the floor will tell you they get tired or they get brain fog, they get the keto flu. Well, that's stupid, in my opinion. Or you're basically a raging dick.
You're fucking hangry.
Yeah. So shut up and go eat an apple.
Yeah, I had a lady reach out to me and asked, she's trying to lose weight. She said, should I be eating fruit because of the amount of sugar in it? You ever met anybody who got fat off eating fruit?
Outside of pretty much, I mean, there are nuances here, but basically outside of the time that God said, don't eat this one piece of fruit, and we did it anyway, fruit's probably okay.
It's not gonna hurt.
No. I mean, a type 1 diabetic probably should not eat a banana by itself first thing in the morning. That might not be a great idea. Outside of that, no.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
All right. You'll probably feel better.
Honestly.
There's a reason the phrase is an apple a day keeps the doctor away, not the stick of butter keeps the doctor away.
As soon as I see mom throw that butter whenever she's cooking, and I'm over for family dinner, oh my God. I know it's going to be a rough evening.
Yeah, and a rough morning. That's
Yeah.
one of my clients, and I just had a phone call today, and she's like, yeah, I think it's this many calories. I was like, well, it was fried, right? And she's like, yeah, I think so. I was like, after you ate it, did you feel like you put chapstick on? She's like, yes. I was like, that's oil.
Right.
And I don't like feeling like I just made out with a whale's butthole.
Way to paint a beautiful picture there, Matthew.
You're welcome. Call me Bob Ross, baby.
Oh, man. Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff, man. We covered a lot right there.
Yeah, we did. This was fun. We got to do more of these.
I think we can do it on Fridays.
I'm here for it.
I am absolutely here for it.
As long as you're
and I am looking. I know we're going to jam on some work after this. I'm going to. But do you have anything else that you want to cover? Does anybody have any questions?
Let's see if anybody pops one up or not.
Nathan, thank you. You look like you're jacked, so I'm here for it.
That's you said Nathan?
Is he the one in Charlotte?
Yep, that's a good buddy of mine. That's who I did the marathon with. He's actually training for his 50K, or no, 50-mile race. Fuck that. But best of luck to you, dude. He is a beast. He's one of the hardest working guys I know.
Love that.
Yeah.
I'm glad this provided value to y'all. Would you like it? We'll be doing it again. And I'm going to upload this onto YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, so I'm going to upload this onto there under a subcategory, I believe, called Young Trainer Old Coach. So feel free to like, subscribe, share. Oh, it's just 4 months. Bro, I hope you're eating. Tart cherry juice, bro. Tart cherry juice.
All right.
I want to joke, man. That stuff is a superpower when you're training like that.
Tart cherry juice?
Yeah, it's one of the most anti-inflammatory things you can do. Like if you're pushing for like massive muscle gain, obviously we want to keep the anti-inflammatories down because it blunts hypertrophy. But for somebody doing a marathon, somebody doing like Tough Mudders, things like that, about 3 to 4 days before, we want to go ahead and load up on tart cherry juice. It will really, really, really help bring that inflammation down, help recovery. A lot of people say curcumin for that. To quote my buddy Dr. Alan Bacon, the bioavailability of curcumin is dog shit. So, what?
I said put simply.
Yeah. It's not that effective.
Right.
So anyway, all right. So it'll be loaded up. I'll shoot it over to you too.
Cool deal.
And I'll talk to you here in a little bit. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in.
Sounds good.
All right.
See you.